Iran's potential responses to U.S. strikes, strategic options, and global stakes. 22nd of June 2025 Analysis Summary. Following the U.S. airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan, Tehran is weighing its next move carefully. Newsweek outlines 7 strategic paths Iran could take in response to the escalation, each with profound regional and global implications. These options span military, cyber, diplomatic, and nuclear domains, reflecting the multifaceted toolkit available to Iran's leadership and the balancing act it must perform between retaliation, deterrence, and international legitimacy. The most immediate and direct option is military retaliation. Iran could target U.S. military installations or personnel in the Gulf region, particularly in Iraq, Syria, or the Persian Gulf itself. However, a full-frontal strike risks provoking a massive U.S. counter-response and undermining Tehran's goal of avoiding total war. Iran may instead choose a more asymmetrical approach, using allied militias such as Kataib Hezbollah in Iraq or the Houthis in Yemen to launch proxy attacks that offer plausible deniability while still exacting a cost on U.S. interests. Another pathway under consideration is cyber warfare. Iran has previously demonstrated cyber capabilities that could be used to disrupt American infrastructure, private sector systems, or critical services such as energy and banking. Though less immediately visible than military action, cyber attacks could send a powerful message with relatively lower risk of direct confrontation. On the diplomatic and geopolitical front, Iran could seek to further isolate the United States internationally, portraying itself as the victim of unlawful aggression. This could involve legal action at the International Court of Justice, enough increased pressure on the United Nations to condemn U.S. strikes, and appeals to countries in the global south to rally against American interventionism. Tehran may also work with Russia and China to push back collectively through forums like the Shanghai Cooperation Organization or BRICS+. Iran could also expand its nuclear program, either by accelerating uranium enrichment or limiting cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. This would be a provocative move aimed at showing defiance, but it risks alienating potential diplomatic partners such as Europe and further legitimizing future military actions against it. Still, the symbolism of dismantling parts of the JCPOA framework could resonate domestically and regionally as a show of strength. Alternatively, Iran might choose a strategic pause, delaying any retaliation while building internal consensus, evaluating international reactions, and avoiding immediate escalation. This would mirror previous periods of Iranian restraint, such as after Qasem Soleimani's assassination in 2020, when Tehran's retaliation was carefully calculated to avoid direct confrontation while preserving national honor. Iran may also intensify regional proxy wars, particularly via Hezbollah in Lebanon or Palestinian groups in Gaza and the West Bank. This could divert Israeli or American attention, raise the cost of continued conflict, and show Tehran's reach across the region. However, expanding these fronts could result in severe civilian casualties and further destabilize already volatile areas, which might backfire diplomatically. Finally, Iran could pursue a hybrid approach, combining several of these strategies. For example, Tehran might launch symbolic military strikes while expanding nuclear activity and launching cyber attacks, all while simultaneously calling for international mediation to appear reasonable to neutral actors. This would maximize pressure on Washington while preserving Tehran's narrative of defensive legitimacy. Iran's ultimate decision will depend on a matrix of factors: domestic political pressures, economic conditions, regional alliances, global diplomacy, and the U.S. Response. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and the IRGC are likely to prioritize preserving regime security, deterring future strikes, and asserting sovereignty, all without inviting regime-threatening war. The margin for error, however, is razor thin. A heartfelt light. To every soul whose hand did give, you've helped me dream, helped me live. In darkest hours your light came through, with hearts so kind, so pure, so true. Your gifts, like stars in deepest night, have steered me gently toward the light. Each coin, each word, each silent prayer, a thread of hope so rich, so rare. My eyes once dimmed now seek the skies, and slowly clearer visions rise. Because of you, I dare to see the world again. its grace, its plea. Your compassion's flame will not just stay with me alone. It lights the way for others wandering through despair to feel the warmth of selfless care. You've shown what love in action means, in quiet ways through giving scenes. You've built a bridge from soul to soul and made the broken feel more whole. So let this thanks rise like a song, a melody both soft and strong. May your example gently call more hearts to rise to give. To fall into the joy of lifting pain, of planting hope where none remains. Your kindness walks beside me still, a light, a love, a living will.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support.